Assalamualaikum and good day. We are from Group 3 and our topic is Islamic financing contract. My name is Nur Shahira Armaya binti Abdul Rahim and I'm going to explain about what is Islamic financing contract. Islamic financing contract is a contract between two parties that support productive economic activities that consistent with the principles of Islamic law. The contract should be lawful and also avoid from any prohibitions such as no interest payment should be included, no gambling, no forbidden activities such as selling alcohol or pork, and also should be free from gharar, which is uncertainties. The contract should be very precise, and to ensure the contract should include all necessary elements with their necessary conditions, and also the service or the asset that described in the contract should be exist that have been ensured by both parties. Next, we will go to the types of Islamic financing. There are 7 types of Islamic financing, which is the first one, Qard al-Hasan, the second is Hibah, third one is Mudarabah, third one is Musyarakah, fifth is the Bai Bitaman Ajil, the sixth one is Murabahah, and also the last one Ijarah. The first one, Qard al-Hasan, is benevolent loan extended by one party to another. The loan should be free from interest and the borrower only pay the principal without any additional charges. It is to meet the requirement for socio-economic purpose of assisting the needy during the time of difficulty. The second one is Hibah. It is a gift or a token of appreciation by the debtor to the creditor, and the Hibah should not be stated in the agreement and it is the discretion from the borrower. The next one is Mudarabah. It is a profit and loss sharing where one party, Rab al-Mal, will provide 100% of the capital while the other one, Mudarib, will provide the entrepreneurship. The profit will be shared between both of them, but the loss will be borne by the Rab al-Mal unless the loss is due to the negligence from the Mudarib. Activities by forming a company or through joint venture. The profit is shared according between profit sharing ratio, while the loss is shared according to percentage of capital contribution. And then the next one is Bai Bitaman Ajil, Murabahah, and Ijarah. This will be presented by my other member, and that's all from me. Thank you. The next one is Musyarakah, joint venture. It is a contract between two parties or more who combine their resources, capital, and labor in order to undertake certain economic activities by forming a company or through joint venture. The profit is shared according between profit sharing ratio, while the loss is shared according to percentage of capital contribution. And then the next one is Bai Bitaman Ajil, Murabahah, and Ijarah. This will be presented by my other member, and that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Shaidah binti Mazakir, and I'll be explaining the differences between Islamic finance and conventional finance. Okay, but the first things that these two have difference is in terms of their principles. For Islamic finance, as it comply with Sharia, where riba is haram or riba is prohibited, it avoids the interest-based transaction and instead introduce the concept of buying something on behalf of the borrower and sell it back to the borrower at profit. On the other hand, for conventional finance, the lenders lends money to borrower to make profit from interest charged on the principal amount. Okay, for the second point, which is regarding the law, for Islamic finance, it is governed by Islamic business law or known as fiqh muamalat, and it also need to follow financial laws and regulation of the countries. As for conventional finance, it only needs to follow or comply with the country's financial laws and regulation. Okay, for the third point, which is regarding the activities these two things can engage with, is Islamic finance. It is conducted only for halal activities, and on the other hand, for conventional finance, it covers wider spectrum. Okay, lastly, in terms of derivatives, the application of derivatives and its transaction is very limited in Islamic finance, whereas in conventional finance, derivatives and its transaction is very popular. That's all.
Hi, my name is Maf653. Now I'm going to explain about the bivitamin agent, or we known as BBA. BBA is a deferred or installment payment sale. This occurs when a seller sells a good to a customer and the customer paying back the seller using an installment payment basis. The objective of BBA is to help those to raise funds and to help those who cannot afford to buy an asset using cash basis. There are a few steps for the process of BBA. For example is, let's say they start to buy a house under BBA concept. First, the customer must initiate a request from the banks, from the Islamic bank, to finance it purchasing on a house. Then the bank will buy the house directly from the developer on a cash basis. Once the bank has buy the house from the developer, the house now belongs to the bank. Therefore, bank have the right to sell back the house at a price he think fits or whatever price he wanted to a willing buyer. So what happened was, the bank will sell back the house to the customer who requests for the house earlier. The process ends when the customer have to pay back the house to the bank on an installment basis. That was the case when the house is a finished house or ready to be used. What if the house is not yet ready to use and the house not yet being completed 100%? The process takes place differently. The first step to buy an uncompleted house is, first, the customer have to buy directly from the developer by paying such down payment and sign an purchase agreement. Next, the customer has to sell back the house from the developer to the bank at the price since the customer buy from the bank. So the bank will pay directly the price to the developer and the bank will sell back the house to the customers, and the customer need to pay back the bank using an installment basis. However, in Malaysia, there are several cases regarding to the dispute between the customer and the bank itself. For example, is in the earliest case in 1998, the court case of Datuk Haji Nik Mahmud bin Daud versus Bank Islam Malaysia. What happened was that the customer, Datuk Haji Nik Mahmud, alleging that the bank instrument is null and void because there is no transfer of ownership of the land he purchased. What happened was that the court case was being won by the bank. There are several reasons for the court give the bank to won the case. For example, is that if the bank lose and the customer win, the bank will not be able to recover its profits of the transaction. Since Islamic instrument is new to the global, therefore we need to show a good impact or a good thing about it. Therefore, it is said that most cases the customer cannot win the case because lack of comprehension and the understanding itself from the customer towards the BBA transaction itself and how BBA actually works. That's all for BBA. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Yasmin and I will explain about Murabahah. Murabahah is the concept of sale of merchandise where the selling price is fixed at cost plus profit. The selling price is determined at the time of contract and being paid in total sometimes in the future. The period is in a short term, which is not more than 6 months. The profit margin is also negotiable, which is in both parties. In conclusion, Murabahah is a contract which deals with agreement where the bank, upon request from the customer, purchase an asset from the third party and sell the asset to the customer at cost plus profit on deferred payment. There are two steps in this contract, which is observe the Islamic bank acquired the asset for the supplier on cash basis, which is after the customer has requested the bank to finance the purchase of the asset. So when the bank have acquired the asset is belong to the bank. The bank will sell the asset to the customer, which is at cost plus profit payable on lump sum on basis maturity as appointed on the agreement. The differences between the purchase price and the selling price will be the profit to the bank. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Maf653. Today I will present the Ijarah. Ijarah is a contract of lease. It refers to an agreement whereby an owner, which is lessor of property such as machines, allow another party's lessee to benefit from the use of the machines for a fee or rental over a period of time. Leasing or Ijarah is a transaction whereby a bank buy an asset and rent it out to customers. It's a concept that is applicable only in Islamic banks. The conventional bank will have to establish a leasing company if it wants to engage in a leasing activities. Usually, a customer who seeks an Ijarah financing does not wish to purchase the machines, as the purchase of machine will impact the company's assets. It only want to use the service of the machines. Under this principle, the bank will first buy the machines as specified by the customers. It will go into the books of the banks as the bank's assets. The bank will then lease the machines to the customer for a fee over a period of time. At the end of the lease agreements, after the bank has already recovered of the entire principals and its profits, the bank can sell the machine to the customer at a minimal amount. Sometimes the lease is follows with a secondary lease after the experience of the first lease for a minimal rental. This concept is usually used for financing the purchase of cars. The contract of Ijarah is what if the asset is used for purposes that are prohibited by Sharia. Next is the Ijarah Tuma al-Bayt. These principles apply to a lease thereafter, ending with the sales of the merchandise to the hires. It is equivalent to a hire purchase arrangement of a goods. Ijarah Tuma al-Bayt consists of a contract of lease and a promise of or wa'ads to purchase after experience of contract of lease by the customers. Under the contracts, a customer hires an asset from a bank at an increased rental over a certain period of time. Upon experience date of the lease contracts, the merchandise will be sold to the customers, normally for a nominal price. That's all from us. Thank you.